Hello and welcome again. In my last video, I showed you why the English language examiner has to cheat you out of marks. So I'll put a link to that video at the end of this one. Let's just remind ourselves about what question 2 looks like. Well, how does the examiner cheat you in this question? The first thing they do is they put this question second. It's only worth a few marks, and you can end up spending far too much time on it. And the examiner puts the big mark questions at the end when you're already knackered. So your first thing to do is to do this paper in reverse, so that question 2 is the penultimate question that you answer. The second way they get you to lose marks is they give you this instruction that you could write about sentence forms, and in the exemplar material that they sent out to schools, the examiner's model answer included sentence form comments. Well, now it turns out that this led students to write gibberish. And the examiners are now telling us, whoops, bit of a mistake there. You don't actually have to write about sentence forms. You only could write about them. Okay, the second way they get you to fail this question is they don't explain what analysis means. An analysis means that you must write about the writer's methods, and the methods that they want you to write about all come down to symbolism. So what does, whatever the technique is, what does it symbolize? In other words, what's the effect on the reader? So you need to use the word symbolize or symbolism, otherwise you can't get into the top grades. And the question doesn't tell you that. The way to make you fail again is by offering you the opportunity to write extra pages. And the examiner now says you shouldn't do that. They say that good students will be able to get full marks just on these sheets provided. Now, normally I'd advise my students to ignore that and just carry on to the extra pages. However, for some reason, AQA did not give those extra pages to the examiner who marked your answer. They gave those extra pages to a different senior examiner, and I'm not confident that those marks would have matched up. So I would only suggest to my students that they write on the extra pages if they have extra time in the exam, and then you're not losing anything by writing the extra pages because they might gain you more marks. But top advice at the minute from the examiner is don't bother writing the extra pages, and I'm interpreting that as we can't be sure that they'll be marked properly. The fourth way that they encourage you to lose marks is this word, techniques. Now, throughout all of last year, lots of English teachers were told that they needed to put in, their students needed to put in lots and lots of language techniques. And so they taught their classes lots of complex terminology, often for the first time, words like synesthesia and anaphora and all sorts. And now it turns out that the examiners don't want that and have actually noticed that when students are using those words, they get much lower marks. So it turns out that there are only a few techniques you actually have to write about. Now, one of them is secret in the sense that the examiners don't tell us this is one of the techniques they really award, a reward rather. But contrast is the top technique, which is why I've put it first and I've emphasized it here. Contrast is the most important technique, and it's the one that examiners notice students write about when they give them grades 8 and 9. So you must write about contrast. The others are all typical techniques that you'll have been told to write about. Assonance is quite difficult, but that one's there. Metaphor and personification you'll be really used to. Alliteration you'll be very used to, and that includes sibilance, the repetition of the S sound. Most of you will know about that. And simile. And I've tried to make it into a mnemonic. I couldn't quite make CAMPASS, but I've made CAMPASS. Some of you might find that quite amusing. I suppose we could have put simile first to make scamper. You can mess around with that to make your own mnemonic. That's the whole point of it, that works with your memory. And if you include that S there, you can get a slightly rude one as well. If that helps with your memory, good luck to you. So you must write about those and talk about the symbolism of these, what the effect is on the reader's understanding of the character, and well, you're away. You'll get the top marks. It's annoying that the examiners don't tell you, but I am, so now you know how to do it. And do subscribe if you would like to see my next video on how they cheat you out of marks in question 3. Good luck with your revision.